What's going on, gang? Happy Sunday. Breathe, guys. Breathe. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. One last time. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more for Chadwick Boseman. Deep breath in. Inhale all the goodness in the world. Hold it for a moment. Count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Relax and breathe out all the negativity, all the energy that's negative in your life, all the hurt, all the pain. Let's breathe it out. Let's shake it out. You know what I mean? Shake your head, rotate your neck, rotate your shoulders. Relax, guys. We here. It's Sunday. Give me 10 forward rotations of them shoulders. 10 back. 5, 4, 3, 2. Just rotate your shoulders back, guys. Some people like to hold their hips while they do this. Just rotate your head. Let's get loose. Let's relax together. We about to have this nice show. We're getting to it. Let's just make sure we're feeling the best optimally. We're breathing. We're having a good day, man. How are you? I hope everybody enjoyed that moment of zen, that moment of peace, that moment of clarity. Speaking of moments of zen, we're going to talk about it today. Big Sean's new album. It's a freaking masterpiece. Come on, clap it up for Big Sean. A lot of people were saying that he really needed this record to stand up. He's been through a lot of personal things in his life, and he definitely has a more introspective perspective on life. He definitely has a more of a thoughtful perspective on life. You can definitely tell that man has been through some things. He's definitely had some new experiences, and he wants to share that with us in his music. And I think the album is beautiful. The album artwork was dope. The songs were great. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into what week would it be in this country if there wasn't more news with the Trump administration and the Biden campaign. So we're definitely gonna get into that as well. Oh, it's been a good week. We're gonna get into a bit of the Joe Budden's controversy and why other people feel the need to chime in to him, Maul, and Rory's situation with Spotify. And we're just going to get into what is your worth, because he brought up a very good point. What is your worth? So we definitely got some good topics we're going to get into. Also coming through today, the very, very talented writer, producer, actor, the incomparable, the humble, for some reason, diehard Boston Celtics fan, but I try not to hold that against him. I love him the same. Such a good, humble dude. And yeah, man, the enthusiast, the 420 enthusiast, Laz Rivero is in the building. He definitely popped through. We chopped it up and had a great conversation. So it's good. And this is his Ghetto Point of View. It's your host, Phantm Phuego, where I'm bringing you the news, previews, and reviews, which is the twist of his Ghetto Point of View. If this is your first time listening, please make sure you come back every Sunday and tell a friend to tell a friend. You get the news, previews, and reviews with just a twist of his Ghetto Point of View. I'm your host, Phantm Phuego, writer, artist, educator, mix engineer, actor, activist, socially conscious, brother. I like to think sometimes, I'm woke, but I take naps, in the immortal words of the incomparable Black Dot. I'm woke, but I take naps like we all do, Like to go to Dunkin' Donuts once in a blue, as a Kaba Kamini would call it, sunken donuts. But it is what it is. Sometimes I apologize, that caramel coffee, I did get substitute of almond milk. I didn't have dairy milk. I'm not big into the dairy. Very very much into my vegetarian lifestyle right now. So I'm woke, but I take naps, man. I'm woke, but I take naps, and I think that's the best any of us can be. We try to be socially conscious and socially aware, but we live life as well. We try to be in the world and not of the world, as it says in the good book. But you are going to have experiences. You are going to have things in life that you do indulge in. And none of us are perfect. We all fall far short of the grace. And we all just trying to put ourselves together one puzzle piece at a time, one brick at a time, one step at a time, and just become better than the people we were yesterday. Grow 1 inch, grow 1 centimeter, move 1 step forward in the world, and its energies and its spirits will all keep coming more steps toward us. And that's all we can do, man. Or as long as we're trying to learn every day, grow every day, improve every day, reflect every day, critique ourselves every day, and adjust to those critiques and make sure we're making positive efforts to change and be the best people we can be. What else can be said in this life except we are young, or we are seasoned, we are warriors, we are fighters, we are regulators, we mount up and we get to it. It's your boy Phantm Phuego. It's his Ghetto Point of View. Shouts to the whole team at Spotify. Shouts to Anchor FM, of course. Shouts to the people over at Anchor.fm. Please make sure, check out the show on Anchor.fm if you want to hear the music. But anyway, you listen to us, Spotify, Overcast, Google, iTunes. The love is appreciated. The love is appreciated. The love is appreciated. And yeah, man, we got some others. Networks we're going to be expanding the show out to very soon. Things are just on the up and up, and I'm so appreciative because I couldn't do any of it without you guys, my amazing audience. Again, if this is your first time listening, welcome, and I hope this will not be your last. And I hope I am educating and entertaining and engaging and enlightening enough that you'll want to come back. And please make sure to share the show, subscribe, favorite it, depending on which streaming service you're on. They have different ways that you can be notified when the show comes on again. So make sure you hit your notification bells. Make sure you set reminders. Sundays, his Ghetto Point of View. Your host, Phantm Phuego. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Phantm Phuego. I am that guy. I am the host. This is his Ghetto Point of View. Let's get into some music. We'll be right back. Shit. Yeah, man, say it ain't so. The Milwaukee Bucks is about to go. Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks find themselves in a 0-3 series hole to Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat of all teams. And I'm not saying that to say the Miami Heat are not an amazing team. You would argue, though, that they're very top heavy. They have the elite, I would argue top 20 in the league. Some people might even argue top 15. Jimmy Butler plays both ends of the court. This man can shoot from pretty much anywhere on the court at this point. He has definitely elevated himself into that level of a player. The man locks up. He will play people bigger than him, stronger than him. He does not care. He's a cerebral defender. He gets in your head. If you're faster than him, he figures out ways to put a faster body on you, a smaller body, and just create the help backside defense. He'll cut off your cuts. He'll cut off you trying to post up. He'll cut off you trying to bring a person onto an island and kill him from the wings. He's a great support defender. He's a great one-up, man-to-man defender. He's a great defensive floor general. He leads his team. He's talking. He's active. He's engaged. He's keeping others engaged and active and angry and intense and coordinated and focused and locked in. He is a true leader. The man can't be stopped. When he doesn't want to be, he can't be stopped. There really is very few holes in his offensive game. He can literally run the one for you and make sure that the other team doesn't get the ball, and he'll make smart, savvy decisions. There's really nothing you can say negative about the man's game. If he was like 6'8", 6'9", he probably would be arguably one of the top 10 in the league. But, being 6'4", 6'5", being diminutive in stature, in today's NBA, he's diminutive in stature. You know what I mean? For the position he plays, 2'3", he's like 6'3", 6'4", maybe 6'5" in sneakers. And but yeah, he just plays with so much heart and soul and athleticism and ferocity. It's very hard to stop. Couple that with the fact that he has one of the coolest, smoothest shooting and insanely cocky and confident, but deserves to be, but still a little hungry, still a little humble. But I mean, how humble can you be when your last name is Hero? You know what I'm saying? Speaking of which, did anybody see this that young brother's his suit at the rookie at the draft? Oh man, he was looking sharp. He was shining too. He had some very nice jewelry designed. Man, he definitely was showing us why he's the hero for real. Yeah, can't really say too much about his game. That's not been well documented. Tyler Hero, he can pull up from anywhere. He can run the one. He can come off the bench and be a spark plug. I really think he will settle nicely into a 2-guard position. Or a tweener. You're being your 6 to 7 man off the bench who can also run with your main unit. If you need somebody to stretch the floor who's not afraid to pull up, I see him evolving into a Zach LaVine type, just with not as much athleticism, but the fearlessness for scoring, the being able to pull up from anywhere, the knack for being able to get his shot, being able to get to the basket left-handed, right-handed, being able to set up other people for plays and have maybe 4 to 5 assists a game. Tyler Hero, to me, is an amazing player. He's an amazing player. He's an amazing athlete. He's very cerebral. He's very poised. He's very up for the moment. He cannot be rattled when you have the last name Hero and people have been on your back watching your YouTube feeds since you was maybe in 8th or 9th grade. You know, he's definitely been built for the moment. He's definitely had a team around him who have, you know, helped him build his hype and also helped keep him in the gym, living up to that hype and understanding the expectations that were being set for him were going to be through the roof, meteoric, super high, and he better be ready. And so far, Tyler Hero has come to play. So you have Hero, this young, up-and-coming, developing young lad who's playing way over his head right now, way over his potential. Nobody expecting him to be killing it right now like he is. And then, of course, you have Bam out of Bio. These Kentucky boys don't play, man. Bam out of Bio, though, he's a beast. He's a beast, and I feel he was just waiting for Whiteside to leave so he could really take up the mantle. He's an undersized big man. He can play the game cerebrally. His mid-range from 13 to 18 is getting really strong and consistent. He's got good mechanics, good poise. He's not afraid of the moment. He's not afraid of these playoffs. He's not afraid of the teams they're playing against. He's not afraid of the other superstars that he regularly has to see at the big man positions in the league, because he'll play between 4 and 5, sometimes 3, depending on who they need him to play against. Playing against a player like Giannis, who will rotate from 3 to 4 to 5. You're gonna be Bam. Bam is gonna be out on the wings sometimes, and he's small in stature enough and quick enough where he can get out to the wings and move around and rotate 3, 4 to 5. You know, I like him a lot. I like his game. I like his poise. I like the intelligence that he plays with. I like the ferocity that he plays with. He does not care. They call that man Bam for a reason. Bam out of Bio. Dude is a beast. He's been a beast since high school. And I'm only looking forward to see him continue to grow and flourish in this league, because I do see Bam Adebayo being I honestly think he'll be a superstar in this league in short order, 3 or 4 years. Everybody will be talking about Bam. I think Bam is one of the few big men who could actually sell sneakers. I think a pair of sneakers called the Bam Bams. Put the Bam Bam guy from the Flintstones. I think it's marketing that sells itself. As long as he keeps playing with this ferocious style of dunking on people, grabbing rebounds, also being able to damn near run your offense, and like even the way he passes and dribbles and stuff, it's hard, it's rocky, it's aggressive, it's rough. I think the Bam Bams, I think he should sign with Nike, and the Bam Bams would sell themselves. The Bam Bams would sell themselves. I honestly think the Bam Bams would sell themselves. he could sign with Nike, and it would be a good look. And if no company wants to sign him, fuck it, do your own shoes, man. You got the money. You got the money, you got the merchandise, designers. You can contact all types of dope designers and start putting the merch out there and keep killing. And as your merch starts selling, one of these companies are going to want to sign you, because none of these companies like it when anybody starts making money without them. So if your trains start going in and out the station, Nike's coming, Puma's coming, Adidas coming, Under Armour's coming, Li Ning's coming, somebody coming with a deal. The Big Bowler brand could be coming with a deal. Shout out to the Big Bowler brand. They are a team on the mission. Shouts to the Big Baller brand. Everything that I've been hearing behind the scenes, I'm very, very happy for them. I've been repping the Big Baller brand hard since those young brothers were still in high school. Lighting it up in Chino Hills. Lighting up the AAU circuits. Lighting it up in the summertime. And, I can't say enough about how amazing their games are. They all complement each other so well. So I really do truly hope that Lavar's plan of getting them all three on the same team comes into fruition, because you're going to see high energy, high scoring, very entertaining basketball that, may have a lot of errors and mistakes. But as they continue to play with each other and get into the field, the mistakes are going to be so overshadowed by the amazing plays that they make game after game after game. And that type of ball, as the Warriors proved, will win championships. No pun intended. That type of basketball, that style of play, keeping the court open, moving, playing defense playing defense for 94 feet, as the Ball brothers do, as Lonzo does. The head of the snake playing defense for 94 feet. Then you got Jello and Melo at the wings waiting. Not as savvy on the defensive end, but still can play defense and still will lock a person up. I think that they are very, very good players. I even think Jello himself is a very underrated player. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing that young man in a NBA uniform and hitting buckets from 40 feet out with regularity in the not too distant future. That family is on the rise. It's reported that LaMelo Ball, the youngest brother and potential number one draft pick in the upcoming draft, if Anthony Edwards doesn't get picked above him, which could definitely happen, and with him dropping to 2, but I can't really see him going outside of the top 5 of this draft, barring some major, massive trades by teams like the Knicks or what have you, trying to scramble up. But there's been reported that a $100 million roughly contract, a little less than $100 million, plus a private jet has been offered to LaMelo Ball to get him to sign with Puma. LaMelo Ball, along with his brothers Lonzo and Jello, have all affiliated themselves with the sports agency Roc Nation Sports. If anybody knows about that deal, and Jay-Z and the people that run the Roc Nation Sports specifically division also have huge parts in the cultivating of the basketball / hip hop / sports marketing marriage that has been going on with Puma. Since Puma has allowed Jay-Z and Roc Nation Sports to kind of collab and take over, they've been signing a lot of the great younger talent in all of the leagues, but especially in basketball, with picking up players such as Marvin Bagley, DeAndre Ayton, and now LaMelo Ball. They're solidifying themselves as the people locking up the newer talent, the next generation. LaMelo Ball, $100 million. And to be honest with you, I think they could have gave him $1 billion and it still wouldn't be worth what they're getting in return. Currently, he has over 5 million Instagram followers, and this man has not played one game of professional basketball. I say again, this man has not played one game of professional basketball, and he has over 5 million Instagram followers. And he's had several million Instagram followers for years now, with all the marketing and promotion, the Facebook Live show going all over the world, LaVar being in wrestling, LaVar constantly being on ESPN, Fox Sports, constantly being on Yahoo Sports, constantly. I just saw him do an amazing interview with Trinidad James and the Soul Collectives and that team. That was amazing. And I believe Foot Store Run is the team. And anyway, the Soul Collective Shout to Trinidad James and his team. It's a very well done podcast, and they just had an amazing interview with LeVar Ball. And Trinidad just got right down to it and asked him, "Hey man, so how do you feel about the contracts and everything with LaMelo getting $100 million deal allegedly, and the private jet, which he definitely has been spotted on and seen wearing a lot of Puma gear." So it's at this point, it's pretty much solidified in the bank that it has actually, in fact, happened. But of course, I think they're going to wait till they get closer to the draft and everything becomes before more firmly celebrating it to the mainstream media and to the mainstream public. And when that happens, there'll be a big fanfare, I'm sure, that'll all be lined up around him getting drafted to whatever team he goes to. So they're winning. They're in winning season. LaMelo could get this contract. Hopefully it's not for that many years, maybe 5 or 6 year contract, which would be reasonable, absolutely reasonable, depending on, especially with the level of search they're going to project him to sell. He could make $20 million a year off this deal, and they still far exceed that with hundreds of millions of dollars in sales off of him alone. And I honestly project they're going to make hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars off of the LaMelo Ball affiliation. And if they somehow can pull off getting the other two brothers to join on, Puma is setting themselves up to be the leader in shoe sales. They are going to usurp Nike. Nike has all of the classics. Jordans will never go out of style. Kobe's will never go out of style. LeBron's, come on. I mean, these are iconic, legendary players at this point. But some disruptors always come through. There's always the disruptors that come through. People forget when Kobe was initially down with Adidas and he came out with those crazy eights. People forget when T-Mac, Tracy McGrady, was down with Adidas. Adidas had the foothold on the basketball scene for a long time. LeBron even was supposed to get down with Adidas, but Adidas unfortunately didn't offer LeBron the right amount of money. It's well documented in a documentary that was done about the shoe empires for ESPN's 30 for 30 series. I highly recommend it. So Adidas, different companies have had the stronghold on the market share, the larger market shares when it comes to selling sportswear apparel, particularly affiliated with the hip-hop basketball world, because hip-hop and basketball pretty much are a synonymous world. When you think of one, you think of the other. When you think of business in one, you think of business in the other. Rappers want to be basketball players want to be rappers. The video games are a combination of both worlds, especially when you look at NBA 2K21, which was just released, and people have been jumping and clamoring for that in droves, as well as their mobile edition just dropped. Luka Doncic is the cover artist on the mobile edition. Damian Lillard is the cover athlete on the PS4 and Xbox console edition. So shout to Luka Doncic and Damian Lillard for that high honor. But you can see the worlds of hip hop and the worlds of basketball. The sports and hip hop world have fully merged at this point. The gaming, sports, hip hop, entertainment worlds, the music, gaming, sports, and basketball worlds are melding into one conglomerate of content pushing. And that marriage is very interesting. And I cry monopoly shenanigans, but that's a whole different conversation. Shout out to the football family. Get that $100 million. Don't let that come between your family. Take that $100 million and reinvest it into the Ball brand. Make the Ball brand as big as it can be. This is just me wishing for them. Make the Ball brand as big as it can be. Make young black men owning things cool. Cooler than buying a pair of Balenciagas. Cooler than rocking Robin jeans. Cooler than having your own private jet. Cooler than playing in Madison Square Garden in front of millions, hundreds of thousands of fans and millions more on TV. Not hundreds, tens of thousands of fans, in Madison Square Garden and millions more watching live. Make ownership, make having something that has your name on it the most important thing. LaVar said in his conversation with Trinidad James and the team over at the Soul Collective that for all the time that certain athletes played, and I'm going to leave their names out, please check out the interview, they've only made hundreds of millions of dollars. The only way you can be an owner, be a billionaire, is if you own something. The only way to be a billionaire is if you own it. Now, yes, all businesses that are owned by you will not succeed. That is an absolute fact. But the ones that do succeed, the ones that do push through, the ones that do change the culture, the ones that do change the narrative, the ones that bring that energy, the ones that create waves. The sky's the limit. And to the victor goes the spoils. And the labors of war will be abundant and all at your feet. But you will have to go through that war, and you will have to toil. You'll have to launch some bombs. You'll have to fire some guns. But the labor is worth it. Ownership is worth it. Generational wealth is everything in life. Black, white, blue, brown, green, fuchsia, magenta, or anything in between. You are trying to leave a legacy of wealth. And those people who say, oh, wealth doesn't mean anything, I got you. I hear you on that. Wealth may not mean anything to you, and that's cool. But we live in a society where a house, a car, food, clothing, transportation, entertainment, education all have cost of time, cost of resources, financial resources, material resources, all have to be exchanged for the consumption of knowledge. Whether you sit at home and take classes remotely, you're paying for your web access, you're paying for the classes themselves, you're paying for whatever medium you do those classes on, whether it be your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your desktop. You're paying for the table that desktop sits on, the laptop sits on. There are so many costs associated with acquiring things in life, gaining knowledge, gaining services, gaining goods, that yes, you may not think wealth is important. You may not think you need to pass wealth to your children. You may not think you need money to survive and have a good, thriving life. But then how do you pay for anything? Please let me know. His Ghetto Point of View at gmail.com. HISGHETTOPOINT of OFVIEW. His Ghetto Point of View at gmail.com. If you don't feel wealth is important, if you don't feel finances are important, if you don't feel gaining an income, if you don't feel earning residual income, if you don't feel establishing wealth, if you don't feel having passive forms of income, several passive streams of income, if you don't feel those things are important in life, I completely respect it. I just would love to know, how do you survive? How do you make it through? How does your family survive? Do you have a family? Do you have a wife? Do you have kids? Do you have a girlfriend? Do you have an ex-wife? How do you manage those relationships? Do you have a mom or elderly parents that you take care of? How do you manage those relationships? A sick aunt, a sick granddad? How do you show value to those you love, if not trying to make their lives more comfortable, if not trying to create that sense of security that comes from wealth, that sense of worth? To be honest, I mean, let's just keep it real. There's a huge sense of self-worth when your family is wealthy. There's a huge sense of relief that comes from knowing that your family has a house that is well paid for, that is paid off, that is owned, that will never be able to be taken away, that your family owns an apartment building, and that you guys just have the apartments at the top or at the bottom, and that you rent out the rest, and you just have residual income coming in every month. Well, not now because of all the madness that's going on, but even most landlords were able to gain some subsidies at this time. So while it may be hard, it's not impossible to survive during these times if they get granted the government subsidies for their different complexes. So I say all that to say wealth to me is very important. Wealth to me is a crucial thing and a father like LeVar Ball teaching his children about wealth, ownership is important. Don't worry about that check. If, like Master P said, if they weren't going to pay you $10 million, what is it really worth? What is it really worth? And yes, can be something said on the flip side of that, of taking the initial bag so you can establish yourself and gain leverage. Because in taking the initial bag, yes, you may give up your ownership. You may never get that ownership back and be in a situation like Nick Cannon now where, he's fighting for the ownership of something he built up for 30 years of his life with Wildin' Out. And it's going to be very interesting how that situation shakes out with Viacom. But I can see how some people can say, well, take the initial bag, you give up some ownership, but then you gain leverage. You've gained finances that you needed to initially get yourself into a different stratosphere, a different level of playing. And then now you can fight for ownership with other things. You can take those finances and put those finances into other projects, which you can now be the owner of. And that first project, which was a huge hit, can be almost the sacrificial lamb, which can help you now fund other ventures. You can now own the content of other creators. You can help other creators co-collaborate and co-create their content, and then taking some ownership in their content that can kind of help you to balance out what you lost with your deal. So there are ways to play that game, and I completely understand that. But I'm so big on ownership, man. I'm so big on ownership. I'm so big on taking the sacrifice and the hit first and seeing what you really are made of, and then letting investors come in, but the investment's got to be right, and the investment's got to make sense. And I don't believe in giving away too much of your ownership, because your intellectual properties, your creations, your babies, as they grow and they nourish, they will feed you. They will feed your family for years and years and years. Even in a show like Empire, Lee Daniels made it a point where Cookie and Lucius constantly had arguments about their intellectual properties, because those intellectual properties are what Empire was established on, what Empire continued to be built on. And as things change, technology changed, society changed, music tastes changed, sensibilities changed, how we engage, how we interact with our content, transitioning to streaming, transitioning more to online interactions. Intellectual properties will always be able to make you more money. Hit records, hit movies can always be relicensed out for something else, for something new, for a new twist, a remix, a way to reinvent it, bring it back into the culture, make it poppin' again. Those things are very important to keep a hold of. Wealth is super important. Into property, ownership, assets, things that can make you money passively, where you don't have to be actively engaged in moving your hands and moving your feet, where you can make money in your sleep. The Ball family, somebody goes on the Baller website, the Big Baller brand website, and buy a pair of Alonzo Ball shoes while they're all sleeping at 4 a.m. But it's, let's say, 1 p.m. in Japan, and they buy 2 pairs of shoes. That's money the Ball family just made not having to be there. When you start to create those residual forms of income for yourself, you start to be able to have relief, less tension, less anxiety, less worry, less stress, as all those forms of income start to create more money for you, and you continue to scale that out. Even if those things only make a couple $100 every month. Having enough small things out there, all making a few $100s every month, leads to thousands of dollars, leads to tens of thousands of dollars, and that leads to you being financially secure and free to accomplish the task you want in life. So there's a balance, but I will always err on the side of ownership. I will always lean for ownership. I will always fight for ownership. I will fight and defend those who do fight for ownership and who do say, forget the check. I'll sacrifice. I'll suffer. I'll get a susu. I'll get some angel investors. I'll get some people who believe in me to help me get this thing in and out the station. I'll barter. I'll do favors. I'll do everything I need to do, because if you're going to give me $1 million, it's probably worth $100 million. And I don't want to be shortchanged, because I know you see me in a position position now where I don't have everything I need to manifest it, but I know you see the idea is worth tons, or you wouldn't even be here having a conversation with me. So I say all that to say, know your worth. Know your worth. Know your worth. Know how much you're worth. Know your value. Know what you bring to the table. Know what you mean to people. Know what your numbers mean to people. Know how your numbers affect how other people's numbers will look. Know if you are the perfect brand ambassador for a particular people's target audience. They will do whatever it takes to make sure you are happy and you sign on the dotted line. They will offer you almost $100 million plus and a private jet. I hope they have to actually gas and maintain that private jet. I hope it wasn't just a part of it, and now he has to maintain that. Because if they have him doing official Puma business all across the world, going on tours in Japan in the summertime, they should have to gas it. They should have to pay for the pilot. That should all be a part of the deal, and that should go for as long as the deal goes. Now, if the plane is mine after the deal's over, then yes, then now maybe those maintenance fees, gassing, storage, upkeep now become my obligation. But as we're doing this deal, you should have to pay my transportation costs. That plane should be how you help me travel to all the places I need to be to promote, market you, and also make sure I'm getting to my team obligations or my other obligations on time, safely, without scheduling issues. Just my point of view, and that's what y'all here for, right? It's your boy Phantm Phuego. It's Anchor FM. It's his ghetto point of view. Let's dig into some more music. Got the Laz Rivero interview coming up. It's going to be funny as hell. Please stay tuned. Stick in. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Sundays we here. We rocking. His ghetto point of view. We'll be right back. Yeah. I'm so silly, guys. I'm very silly. But you know, that's what we doing on a Sunday. Let's get to it. Welcome back. Now, this is the part of the show where I will probably get a lot of hate mail, and that's fine. Please make sure you send it all to hisghettopointofview@gmail.com. I do read all of your emails that you send to hisghettopointofview@gmail.com. I do read all of the messages I get in my DMs on my Instagram at HGPOV show, His Ghetto Point of View show, or His Ghetto Point of View. Find us on any of those. I do read everything you send to my inboxes, the funny, the serious, the whimsical, the outright ghastly, the amazing, the insightful, the very the enlightening. I read it all. I have the best audience in the business. I have the best, the most savvy, the most intelligent, well-spoken, articulate, funny as hell, ratchet as hell too sometimes. I got a really diverse, wild audience of people, and I wouldn't have it any other way. You guys make this show what it is, and I thank you guys so much for rocking each and every Sunday. That being said, this is the part of the show where I say something that's going to get people mad. So, in standard number 45 fashion, Donald Trump has executed a series of executive orders. Well, one executive order and 3 memorandas. In this new executive order, he's tackling payroll taxes, and he's deferring payroll tax on income of people making less than $150,000 a year, if I'm not mistaken, in a way to kind of circumvent the system and not being able to give out just an additional stimulus check. He's trying to find other ways to give people additional money with his with the executive order he signed around people getting additional 300 or $400 depending on which area you live in. Though here in New York, Governor Cuomo said people will not be getting any additional funding on their unemployment checks, which is really unfortunate because it just seems like their political standoff is coming at the expense of actual people. Real people on the ground are having to deal with the fact that this man just doesn't want any help from the current establishment. And when I say this man, I mean Governor Cuomo. He has made it extremely clear that he refuses to, in a recent report, just fill out the paperwork that would be necessary for the inhabitants of the state of New York who are on unemployment insurance right now, whether they and especially those who have lost their jobs in relation or had their hours drastically affected in relation to the pandemic. Those people could desperately use an additional $400 a week or $300. I mean, having to pay the additional cost for hand sanitizer, for wipes, for masks, because you can't go in anywhere without masks. These are insane costs. And if you're a family man, if you're a family woman, and you have 3 or 4 other people who you're helping subsidize their income, you're buying masks for 3 or 4 other people besides yourself, and gloves and hand sanitizer. And you're most likely you're probably washing your clothes a lot now, making sure that you're taking a lot of showers now. So you're buying more soap, more deodorant, more detergent. Like the cost of living has jumped up exponentially now, and the wages or lack thereof are non-existent. You have people losing their jobs. Tons of companies are failing every day. Middle America is dying right now. The economy is falling apart. Forbes just posted an excellent article in which they showcased the hundreds of companies, small companies, middle of America companies, mom and pop companies, middle class families being completely bombarded right now. And everybody's like, well, the stock market looks great. Well, the stock market had qualitative easing. And anybody who's not sure what qualitative easing is or not familiar with the term of qualitative easing, it's when they pretty much pump money into the market. They inflate the market. They support the market. They buy debt off of the market. They do all of these things to make sure that the market stays viable and healthy, because they feel that the market is a projector of the economy. Though some people would argue that the market is not a projector of the economy, it really is only showing what the economy did previously. And so if the market is still strong, it's strong from previous numbers, not projecting what's going to happen. Those are 2 different schools of thought on the stock market. And I will actually, in some future shows, have some people up here that have much better knowledge of the stock market, of trading, of buying assets, of day trading, of cryptocurrencies and investing in that space, of investments, assets, liabilities, period, and what we can be doing now to make sure we are staying not only afloat, but we're continuing to thrive even in these times of tension and emergency. Because those who prepared themselves for these type of times, those who see the writing on the wall, those who are constantly getting themselves ready for when the next situation is going to come, because a new situation will always come. It may not come now, but it will always come. Those who've been making haste to provide, to get ready, to keep resources to the side, to be ready to buy things as the prices fall massively, those people, there will be a huge transfer of wealth right now. And the people who have gotten themselves ready will be very, 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 very pleased with themselves and the things that their families can acquire over these next few years. I am a big believer that there will be a huge transfer of wealth in this country. There will be a huge transfer of wealth. There will be a huge transfer of wealth. There will be a huge transfer of wealth. There will be a huge transfer of wealth, but it'll only be those who really will be able to take advantage of acquiring all of those assets will be those who have gotten themselves ready since the last calamity, the last emergency, those who have been making a way to live well under their means so they can save and stack and invest and store and pile up. So when these moments happen, they can now start to acquire assets and start those new companies and start those new ventures. But if you won't be able to take advantage in this time, just take heed in the fact and knowing that these times will come back around again. And you will have the opportunity to take advantage if you get yourself ready for the next one. So hold on, stay strong, keep your body right, keep your mind right, keep your spirit up, keep your fam's minds, bodies, and spirits up, keep the morale up, get through this time, get your fam through this time safe and well and mentally and physically ready to move into the next epoch, the next transition, the next phase. Get yourselves ready for that on every level and every plane possible, and then start stacking and saving and investing, because I promise you something is going to happen. Something is going to happen next. Whatever that something is, there will be a depression, there will be a financial collapse, there will be a war, there will be a recession, there will be something. Time happens, things happen, things repeat in cycles, and these things will happen again. So if you've gotten yourself ready, if you get your family ready, so if you physically may not be here for it, but your family can take the things that you've now learned and the resources that you've now put to the side to capitalize on those times. If you teach your sons, if you teach your daughters, your nieces, your nephews, your cousins, the community children, the children in the community, so that they can buy up the block, they can buy up the corner stores, they can buy the bodegas, they can buy the supermarkets and the laundromats. They can be the entrepreneurs of the future if they're just given a chance in the proper education. Back to that ownership conversation, right? If they're just given a chance in the proper education, the children of this next generation can be future leaders that start to generate that generational wealth. Generational. It's all about charging up, man. It's all charging. I guess that's why they call it currency, because it's all about charging up yourself, charging up your loved ones, filling your batteries so you have reserves. So as things get hard, you don't die, you're not on E, you're not flatlined immediately, because you've been ready, you've been patiently waiting for something to explode on, and you got it. So I say all that to say, I know how people feel about Trump, but these executive orders, they're not bad, and we need money coming into our pockets in any way we can right now. I don't understand why Cuomo won't just take the money, but I do understand it from a political standpoint. If he feels like, well, if I take this money, it's going to look like I needed something from him. But if you're really talking about being a president, being a vice president, running for the Oval Office, running for something for the country, I would argue that one of the best ways you can show your leadership is to really be a leader of the people, and really take the responsibility that I am only here to serve the people. I'm not here to serve myself. I'm not here to be a hero. I am here to serve the people. And if it is in the best interest of the people to have an additional $300 or $400 coming into hundreds of thousands of unemployed people's checks, or underemployed because they've lost time, lost wages, lost hours, lost salaries, the best thing for New York would be to have as many people with as much income as possible to buy, to save, to invest, to pay things off, because it's getting scary in New York. You know, you have more and more people leaving the state, moving upstate, moving out of state. What are they planning? What is going to happen when there is no taxes being collected to fortify and to put the gas into the car, so to speak, the proverbial car of this city, and to keep it going, when all that gas is not being collected, when all those taxes are not being collected and turned into gas that we can use to keep driving this car every single month, every single 6 months, every single year? What does that look like? How does that ripple out to other places? How does that ripple out to Georgia, to Florida, to California? How do these other places also handle this same thing happening? This is going to be interesting times. And those who have gotten ready, those who have been getting ready, will be all right. Those who have put extra to the side so they can now become asset collectors in these times will thrive. But those who haven't, take heed just to get yourself together, get yourself right. Ride through these times, get your fam through these times. Meditate, fast, pray, have fun, enjoy. But stay safe, get yourself through these times, get your fam through these times. And get ready for the next turn. Get ready for the next major event. Be an asset collector at that time. Be somebody ready to take the world over. Because these things happen sooner than you think. And those who are ready never have to get ready. Those who stay ready never have to get ready. Those who are always sharpening their skills, sharpening their swords, making sure their talents are staying up to date, keeping abreast of things, are ready to seize the day. Carpe diem, carpe diem, carpe diem. It's your boy Phantm Phuego. This is his ghetto point of view. I bring you the news, views, previews, and reviews with just a twist of my ghetto point of view. Every Sunday we get to this. Every Sunday we get to this. Every Sunday we get to this. And I thank you guys so much for always rocking with us and vibing with us. Big Sean's album was absolutely amazing. Big Sean's album was absolutely amazing. Big Sean's album was absolutely amazing. Shout out to the boy to Cali. Came through to the studio. Shout out to the White Studio. So enthusiastic. Yo, did you hear that? Nah, I'm going to check it out though. It was absolutely amazing. Breathtaking body of work. You could tell the brothers definitely went through a lot. And he's using that and his platform to try to teach us things. You know what I mean? From songs like Zen the F Out, where he's teaching us, just to get calm, get right, get to the point of Zen, get your mind into an absolute place of balance and peace and calm, and just don't let stuff bother you or phase you. Zen the F Out. Zen the F Out had a joint on there with Anderson .Paak, and the frequency of that song was just all about love. The frequency of that song was just all about love. Had songs where he was just teaching stuff. He had the love track on there with Janae Aiko. I mean, the album is just amazing, man. The album is just amazing. Working Harder Than His Demons, my favorite song on the whole project. Harder Than My Demons. Yes, you gotta work harder than your demons. You gotta work harder than the things trying to hold you back, hold you down, keep you in particular places, keep particular energy around you. If you keep working harder than those, you will have mistakes, you will have bumps in the road, but you will flourish, you will shine, you will get through. Actually, Big Sean was in the news recently, unfortunately, because of his past relationship to the lovely star from the Cosby Show who recently passed, and a lot of people were trying to say his I Don't F With You song was directed at her, and if it was at a different time in their lives and at a different energy when they were both younger, it is what it is. It is what it is. That's not the wave he's on now. And that's not what we're trying to talk about as we remember such a lovely, such a light, warm personality who brought so much joy to our hearts as she was on the Cosby Show. You know what I'm saying? And as she transitioned from that to other shows like Glee, etc., she'll be missed. The world will be pleased with her work. She's an immortal. She'll last the test of time. But I say all that to say Big Sean's work is amazing, and it shows the growth in his life personally. It shows the development in him as a man. It shows a testament to his character and how he's developed and how he really wants the best, not only for himself and his family, but for Detroit and for the country overall. And I think we need more artists putting out that type of music right now, sending out a counter vibration. And there's nothing wrong with the music that's coming out. People gonna put out what they put out. There's nothing wrong. I respect your First Amendment rights all day. But I also believe in balance. And I believe that love is the strongest energy out here, and love conquers all. I don't really think that's a cheesy thing that we just say on Hallmark cards. I don't think companies like Hallmark would exist if love wasn't the strongest thing out here. I don't think holidays like Valentine's Day would be so successful. Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, etc., if love wasn't the most powerful thing out here. I know some people think hate and venom, animosity, angers, those are the strong. Nah, those burn out even the longest, the hate and the anger and the venomous and the animosity and the rage that lasts long times, it's destructive. It hurts, it kills, it maims, it bruises. But love can be just as destructive. Love can be just as violent and aggressive. But love can also be beautiful. Love can also build. Love can also conquer with kindness and compassion and empathy and understanding. Love can build bridges. Love can create connections. Love can open up understanding. Love can increase patience, because if you love somebody, you're going to be more patient with them, more understanding. You're going to try, even if it doesn't work or succeed. Love will make you try. Love will also make you vulnerable to being hurt, of course, because those who you love are the ones who can hurt you the most. But that's why love is the strongest thing in this world, because it can make you blind to those around you who may not mean you well. You know, as Eve said, love is blind and it'll take over your mind. What you think is love is truly not. You need to elevate and find. Love is blind. You know what I'm saying? Love is blind. Love is beautiful. Love is creative. Love is artistic. Love is being. Love is birthing. Love is challenging. Love is life. Love is a living thing that needs to be nourished and cultivated and taken care of. And it is the most powerful substance that there is in this whole world. Nothing is stronger than love. I truly believe that nothing is stronger than love. Love conquers everything. It's a cheesy thing to say, but it's real. It's really real. Love truly conquers everything, even false love. Even when people say they love somebody and they really don't, that could still get them where they want to go. Even if someone comes across like a good person and they not, and people fall in love with that fake persona they put out, that happens all the time in this world. That happens all the time, especially with celebrities, local celebrities, politicians, civic leaders, religious leaders. That happens all the time. We fall in love with these personalities, these personas, these images of people. And then when we learn who they truly are, we're crushed, we're heartbroken. Love is the most strongest thing in this world. Love conquers all. Don't ever get that twisted. Love conquers all. It's your boy Phantm Phuego, bringing you the news, views, previews, and reviews, just a twist of my ghetto point of view. Jump into some more tunes before we get out of here. You guys have been great. I literally have the greatest audience in the business. Thank you guys so much. Please continue to send them emails. hisghettopointofview@gmail.com. hisghettopointofview@gmail.com. Companies looking to get your stuff in front of our amazing audience, our diverse, intellectual, enlightened, engaging, intriguing audience. This is the best audience in the business. Please get at us. hisghettopointofview@gmail.com. Artists looking to get your stuff played on the show, reviewed on the show. Directors with new films that you'd love us to review on the show. His Ghetto Point of View, HISGHETTOPOINT. His Ghetto Point of View, VIEW. His Ghetto Point of View @gmail.com. It's the place to catch us. It's the place to catch us. It's the place to catch us. It's your boy Phantm Phuego, PHANTM PHUEGO. Shouts to everybody at the Free World Festival. I performed at the Free World Festival this past Friday. Did a little 24-minute set. You know what I mean? I gave my set in honor to Chadwick Boseman, and also to Kobe Bryant, the legacy that those two titans left behind so far in this world. Shout to everybody at the Free World Festival. Shout to BK Wildlife. Shout to Sick Fat Titan, Mixed Messages. Shout to Marcus Jade. Shout to everybody doing amazing music. Shout to Artery. Shout to Artery.is. Shout to the Smokes and Jokes team, Black Art Pantheon. Shout to everybody doing such amazing work right now. Shouts to Henny Cornelius. Shouts to, man, I don't even want to start naming people, because you start naming people, you start forgetting people. Aisha Dukes. Commander Flame. So many amazing people. Shout to Janae Boston. Her comedy wave is just killing. Shouts to the homie Laz Rivero. And thank you so much for coming and rocking with me tonight. Thank you guys. You're the greatest audience. Thank the best audience I could ever have. Thank the best audience in the business. Thank the best audience in the business. Thank the best audience in the business. You guys keep me inspired. You keep me enlightened. You keep me on my toes. You keep me in check. I appreciate that. I need that. I need fans like y'all. You know, what else could make this thing any more special? It's your boy Phantm Phuego. This is his ghetto point of view. This is what we do on Sundays. Let's jump into some tunes. Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Excellent, man. Thank you almost to have the interview. Definitely appreciate it, good brother. I know it's a busy day for you, a busy weekend.
All right, this is better now. Yeah. No, I do. I went to get a tattoo. I totally forgot. So when I got home, I was making a coffee and I was like, I got your message. I was like, oh, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Thank you so much. What'd you end up getting?
I ended up getting the words "Listen Without Prejudice" on my left arm.
Wow. What's the? Well, I mean, of course, that's a dope saying. I mean, so you know, it has so much meaning. But what does it mean to you in particular that you just decided to get that today?
It's the name of a George Michael album that I like a lot. It's called "Listen Without Prejudice." So I have a lot of my tattoos are a lot of the people that I grew up loving and liking influenced me. Like I have a tattoo of Jim Morrison, and I have a tattoo of Jack Tripper, of John Ritter from Three's Company, and I got a tattoo there. A bunch of other tattoos that represent Alice in Chains and Jack Kerouac, which my son's name is Kerouac. So I wanted to get something for George Michael. As a kid, George Michael was an influence on me. I'm not a great singer, but his voice was amazing. And he was like my Prince. George Michael was my Prince. I don't like fucking Prince because Prince was a Jehovah's Witness. So Prince could go fuck himself. So everyone like Prince this, Prince that. I'm like, fuck Prince, man. I don't really give a shit about Prince. Maybe young Prince. But older Prince became a Jehovah's Witness asshole. So I don't fuck with Prince. But anyway, the
I'm a big Prince fan. That hurts my soul, man. But I can understand. He did his content viewpoint definitely did change as he evolved. But I mean that happens with all of us.
Well, you know me, I grew up in that cult, and I'm not a fan of that cult, and I had a hard time in my life dealing with that cult. And I have family members that I didn't speak to because of that cult. So when Prince became an obnoxious Jehovah's Witness, I was like, I'm done with this guy. This guy's a fake,
It was reminiscent of energy you'd already come across. I can completely understand.
Well, there's stories. I mean, if you look up stories of like from the time, the people that he did. What was the name of that band, bro? My jungle love, Oreo. I think I'm gonna love you. Was that called The Time? Remember from the movie? And he wanted to do some work with him again. And he was talking about how Prince was like, oh, you got to come preaching with me. You got to come to the Kingdom Hall. And my man was like, no, I don't have to do any of that. Like he was like saying, in order for you to do this music with me, you have to do all this stuff with the Jehovah's Witnesses. And he was like, hell no. You know how they can be. So anyway, man,
oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Fuck Prince.
Laz Rivero is in the building, man. For those that don't know, the amazing comedian, writer, entertainer, producer, and I don't hold it against him, but the diehard Boston Celtics fan, I still love him either way.
6:30 tonight, baby. 6:30 tonight.
Who do you got in the game tonight? I mean, silly question.
Come on, I got Boston. I had Boston winning that 7th game in a row. It would have been their first time, believe it or not, that they ever won 7 games in a row, even with those historic teams that they had. But Toronto, there was a good game the other night, man. To the 0.5 seconds left on the clock, it was a great game. Hopefully, they'll win today. I don't want to see Miami though, man. I don't want to see Miami, man.
Miami is looking scary right now. Miami are looking scary right now.
Miami always beats Boston for some reason, bro. and they're looking good. They're looking scary. I don't know what's Miami's always fucking coming around somehow, man. Getting into the playoffs, and once they get in, man, they're hard to beat, dude.
Very hard to beat. Very hard to beat. I wouldn't hold it past them being a sleeper to get all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't know if they can make it past that, but I definitely wouldn't put it past them to be a sleeper for that. But speaking of sleepers, man, let people know, man, not to sleep on this busy weekend you having, and tell us about the different events you dropping out there.
The different shows, but I had some shows. I mean, I'm working a lot. I'm working outdoors. I was invited to do a spot tonight in the Bronx. I'm gonna do that. Just grinding, man. I mean, I'm not doing anything indoors, but anything outdoors, I'll do. You know, I'm always collaborating with the great Eugenio Cornelius, who I love a lot. I was supposed to do a show of his last night, but I couldn't make it. I was only able to make one show. But, you know, I've done a million of his shows. I love his Smokes and Jokes show, one of my favorite shows to do.
Smokes and Jokes series.
It's amazing, man. The audience that he gets, it's a great audience. You know, they're hanging on to every word. They're laughing. They're respectful. They're mindful. They're thoughtful. There's a good audience. Can't wait to do that again with him. Just working hard, man. Getting some, you know. I'm not a producer, believe it or not. I never produced. I only produced one show in my whole career, but I'm an actor. I've been doing a lot of auditions this week. I do a lot of commercial acting.
But I mean, I would call you a producer though, man. Even if you don't have like I guess quote unquote professional what they would consider stuff under your belt, because I mean I constantly see the skits and stuff you put together on YouTube, and I mean you can see the technical influences that you have. Like me personally going to school studying media, I've had a very few film classes, so I'm not gonna sit here and pretend to know as much film as you may, somebody like yourself may, but I can definitely see like the influences and like the classical cinema techniques that you use and apply.
I do, and I do like the editing process, man. I love the editing process because I have a vision and the timing of where that laugh is going to come. So I'm very involved when it comes to the editing process. Yeah, you're right, because we do.
Not only that, didn't I see you do the if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, one of your skits where you had where you just constantly went back and forth with an image and just did the different facial expressions. And isn't that reminiscent of that classical test that guy did to show how just if you change your facial expression at the point of view of the image that you're looking at, you'll convey a different message to the audience. I thought I saw you do something similar like that in one of your skits.
I'm sure I did it at random, and then it was planned. Like, oh yeah, I meant to do it this way. Nah, but I do a lot of shit. I have a good crew. Like I have Daniel Harris, who's, he does a lot of impersonations. Like Gabe Dorado, who we do sketches with. We try to form something called Cloud Nueve Comedy Sketch Group, which is us Latinos. There's a lot of this is a time where everyone's waking up to a lot of things, but you just don't see a lot of minority sketch groups besides Living Color, Mad TV, or every other sketch group, Second City, UCB, Laughing, all that stuff. So we're trying to, get out there and show people that, like, hey, minorities can also do sketches and can be funny. And that's,
Definitely, man. Piggybacking off of that, speak to that importance, man. Like, how critical do you feel it is for minority comedy groups to be able to have a stamp and create a mark in the space and be accepted across the board and be able to put out all different types of material?
Well, I mean, it's hard, Phantm. It's hard because you're competing against the establishment that's been here for a long time. And listen, man, a lot of my influences, like I grew up, I'm Generation X, man. So, we had racist parents. All of us did. So we had to teach ourselves not to be racist, So growing up, it's funny because I was saying the other day as a kid, when you're a kid growing up, like where I grew up with a lot of white Cubans. And I didn't have a black teacher till college. So not even to grammar school, high school. So a lot of the heroes that I had as a kid were white. And then as you start getting older, your heroes start looking more like you. You know what I'm saying? So, as a kid, you like George Carlin, you like John Ritter, you like the Doors, you like rock. Because I was more into the metal. I sang for 2 bands. I didn't really grow up in the hip-hop culture, but all my friends did. And that's something that through them, I was able to, but I really got pushed towards like that rock. All the older people that I knew were into heavy metal and rock. And it wasn't until I myself was able to explore myself as an individual, especially being raised in a cult where you don't have your own will. You don't think for yourself. You know, you have to do what they tell you to do. And it's also very racist in the Jehovah's Witness. Like, even they call themselves Christians, but they're not. They're very racist there too. So I had to teach myself not to be racist. You know, and I had to learn about things that I wasn't being taught at home. And then when you get older, you have, you know, people like heroes like John Candy and John Belushi and Steve Martin. And then you're realizing, oh, the only one in the group is Eddie Murphy, right? So everyone else is white. And why? Because all these sketch groups and all these places, they were primarily white. Like, I'm a big Christopher Guest fan. For a long time, I loved his movies, Mighty Wind, For Your Consideration. Then as you're growing up, you're like, fuck, everyone's white in his movies. So so then you start kind of re-examining your whole life. You're like, damn, you know, I'm not angry. I don't hate all these people that I loved growing up, but it would have been nice if I was also influenced by other minorities, other groups of people, you know, and I didn't get that whole kid and caboodle, so I had to get that for myself, and it ended up me, you know, living on my own and not talking to my family. I don't know how we got here, probably the weed. I'm talking about a lot of things. I think the weed.
No, man, this is excellent. Please keep going.
But getting back to that, we need more. We need more sketch groups that highlight more minorities, and that's what we need. You know, like we have Living Color, and that was it. So you have Saturday Night Live, and you have all these other groups and all these other schools, and it's mostly white kids, man. I mean, look at these lineups. I see lineups in New York City where you have 5, 6 white comedians and 1 minority comedian. I still see them every day. I'm going to DM you some. You're going to be like, wow. Like, there should not be a 6-to-1 ratio in New York City because that's not a true representation of the comedy in New York. You can't have, I saw one today, 5 white guys and 1 black comedian, a female. Not even a white woman, not even an Asian, just 5 straight up white guys and 1 black comedian. So I don't want to stir things up, but that needs to change because if you're in New York City, then your lineups should reflect New York City. 5 white guys and 1 black female comedian is not indicative of the comedy scene in New York City, bro. And there it needs to change.
Well said.
That had me a little angry.
Well
that needs to change because there's a lot of funny people out there, man, that are not male and white.
This is true. That might not even necessarily reflect.
You heard my. Hold on, I got someone.
The communities of
I got someone at the doorbell. You heard the ding dong? I got a ding. I'm not opening the door for this guy, bro. Yo, it's the fucking census people, bro.
They have been coming around heavy lately.
Yeah, no, I'm not opening the door for them.
They're a mess. But yeah, man, I wholeheartedly agree. I think that more diversity is needed just across the board in entertainment, and especially in the seats where we can write and produce and show a perspective that, like you said, is more representative of the people in the areas that done. Because you go to the park, you know, it's such a cultural melting pot, and in those places where we do have those meldings of culture is when the best art comes. What do you? How do you?
Oh yeah, I mean, art comes from oppressed culture. The art doesn't come from rich culture. The rich people did end up taking the art from you, but that's where it comes from. It comes from us.
Wow.
So I mean,
mic drop.
You know what I'm saying? Hold on one second, family. Hey Joe, the census people are knocking. Don't open the door for them. They're here. We're making them coffee. Oh yeah? No, I got a coffee. Go ahead. But I'm telling my man's working on my house. I was like, don't open the door for the census people. They say Nazi Germany, bro. Get the fuck out of here. Fucking knocking it. We already filled it out too. We told these people we filled out the census. There's people here in Brooklyn that want to get the fuck out of here.
Oh, man.
Anyway, man, talk to me, fam. What's going on, brother?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So, just give us briefly, man, if you don't mind, a bit of your background. And when did you fall in love with comedy? When did you know comedy was the thing that, you know, lit your fire inside, you know, to be poetic about it? Like, and then how'd you initially end up cutting your chops to become this like amazing, all around, very ingenious, witty comedy?
Wow, man! I got your checkers in the mail for saying those nice things. That's beautiful.
Oh, stop it, man! I really mean it. You're amazing. Like your sets are very interactive. You keep the crowd engaged. You keep us laughing on the edge of our seat. You're not afraid to laugh at yourself. And then so it makes us comfortable. And then when you go at the crowd, we love it because you also not afraid to go at yourself. So it's a well balanced meal. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You get greens, then you get some in a main entree. So it's dope,
Well, you
man. I
can't
really like.
be too cool for school in comedy. You got to be able to laugh at yourself, for sure. And I think I was influenced at a very, very young age. I remember in Cuba, my parents talking about Cantinflas, very, very funny Mexican comedic actor, very physical comedian. Tintan, Tres Patines, also the Spanish people. And then coming here, with Chespirito, and then watching Eddie Murphy and watching Robin Williams do stand-up comedy. That was like my big heavy influence. John Ritter at Three's Company, huge influence. Or the combination of watching John Ritter play Jack Tripper in Three's Company, watching Eddie Murphy Delirious, Eddie Murphy Raw at a young age, listening to stand-up albums in my house. I remember having the first Andrew Dice Clay album, that Black Def Jam album, listen to it quietly in my house, and my parents would hear all the fucking cursing and stuff. That whole 80s, because we had HBO, man. I don't even know how the fuck we had HBO. My father was into some illegal shit. So we had HBO, and I would watch, during the 80s, they were just having special after special, Paul Reiser, everyone, Dangerfield, This Week in Comedy, Seinfeld. It was just like a bunch of stand-up comedians in the 80s. And as a kid, I watched all that. And George Carlin and Eddie Murphy stood out. And, and I was always, and then being a Jehovah's Witness as a kid, you get taught to talk to people. You get taught to talk to people in the street, knock on doors. You talk to the whole congregation. So I wasn't staged. I didn't have any stage fright. And that allowed me to do other things. Wow. When it came to, I was a model in high school. We would do modeling shows, and I sang for 2 bands. So it allowed me to, not to be afraid of the stage and stuff. And then it allowed me to do acting. And I guess it was all a combination of my childhood and my influences as a kid. And then just trying to live a double life, being funny, hiding the pain and tragedy of my life that I hated as a kid. Hated being a Jehovah's Witness, hated that whole scene, hated my family. So I turned to laughter to hide that. So I was being almost had 2 personalities, the sad kid at home and then the happy kid at school.
Wow. That's dope, man. And it sounds like all of those different, like you said, all those different experiences created this potluck type of comedy style that you have that people relate to so well. And I mean, if it kind of fits it being in New York City, you having a potluck type of comedy style. And to be honest, I feel like that's a globally reaching type of style because you're going to have so many diverse groups of people who can kind of relate to your story, your background, your influences. So, I mean, that's amazing, man. I mean, it sounds like you have a lot of different inspirations that you pull from when you get things done. And I think that'll only lead to you having amazing comedy specials going forward.
So, I mean, when you grow up as a kid watching all these great people and they're heavy influence on you, stand-up comedy is always something I always watched alone. And then, or with my friends that we talked about, we all love stand-up. And you don't lose sight of that, man. Even in the 90s, early 2000s, Martin Lawrence was a big Martin Lawrence fan. Cat Williams, to me, is one of the kings of all time. Cat Williams is in my top 5. Cat Williams is the kind of comedian that I just look at, and he said something, and I just start laughing. He has that, and he is someone to listen to about comedy. You listen to Cat Williams talk to you about comedy. There's one album he has where he talks in between the bits. And I don't know what's the name of that album, but he gives advice on comedy. And he talks to you about getting laughs per minute. And it's when you do your set and people want more. And it feels like you were only there for 2 minutes and you were there for 15, 20 minutes. And he is just a workhorse and one of the funniest guys. And he's an influence on me because I'm also very physical as well. And when I see him do that physical stuff, I like it as well. So I also have, in comedy, there's a lot of different comedians, man. It doesn't matter what style you have, right? I mean, I'm new to this. I'm only here 6-7 years doing this, and there is whatever gets the laugh, bro. You know what I'm saying? Whatever style comedy you have, if it's funny, man. Like my style of comedy, I'm not there to teach you anything. I'm not there to insult you. I'm not there to enlighten you. I'm there to make you laugh, and I'm gonna laugh at myself, and I'm gonna laugh at the things, some of the experiences that I go through that maybe some of the audience members can share, and we're gonna laugh together. You know, that's my style of comedy. You see me, you know, and I'm there to have a good time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm
Yes,
not there
sir.
to insult you or be rage. I'm not. That's not me.
Wow. I mean, but even in saying that, man, I would say that even in not trying to teach people something, the fact that you have this very open and genuine comedy style, I would say, from my opinions of the times I've observed you, I feel like a lesson, because you know you're taking them on a journey with you and the things you've gone through that have led you up to today, and you letting them know, you know, I bleed like you bleed. I put my pants on like you put your pants on, and you know, I've just had one hell of a ride while doing it. And so I think in that you do kind of leave gems and jewels for people, and you.
Are you there? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir. Did you hear me?
You can hear me? Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful. I
Yes,
got
sir.
you.
Yeah, I was just saying that. I think in your own way, man, you leave gems and jewels. But yeah, I was on to my next question. If you could work with any comedian, past or present, who would it be and why?
Wow. That's a really tough. I mean, I'm not thinking of any specific person, but if you mention one person, you're going to leave one out, and I don't think that's fair. I don't know, man. I love Eddie Murphy, man.
The
Eddie
first name
Murphy.
that's popping to your
Eddie
head.
Murphy, man.
Okay.
Eddie Murphy
Absolutely.
is my biggest influence. He is not only in stand-up, but also in comedic acting. I love Eddie Murphy, man.
Nice.
That's the GOAT for me.
Okay. Anybody in today's present scene, who would it be?
He is in today's present scene.
No, absolutely. I mean, some of the people that might have come up under him, like that followed in
Well,
his.
I mean, Cat. I love to meet Cat. I love to work with Cat. I mean, that's incredible. I love Brian Regan. I think it's hilarious. I like Ali Wong. I think Ali Wong and I have similar stories. We talk about our spouses a lot, who are better than us, you know, and that we have that in common. I love Ali Wong. You got to listen to her. She's incredible. She's hilarious as hell. Yeah, I mean, there's so many. You can't really think of people now, but there's just so many people, man. And people in our, you know, community too that are just incredible. Like, you know, I watch comedians that we work with here in New York City, local comedians that are fantastic. I've been doing this for 20 years, and then you see them do it, you're like, damn, I wish I could be that good. You know, you think you have a good set,
Right.
and then you see them do it, and you're like, fuck. You know, damn. There's a lot of people that make me laugh. I like, you know, I like Dante Nero. He's a big dude, bald guy, but you know, he's funny. You know, he tells funny stories. Like if you're in a party somewhere and someone's telling a story, he will be the guy telling that story, and everyone listen to him with those funny punchlines and stuff. But I mean, yeah, I mean, like Eddie Murphy, definitely. Robin Williams, you know, was somebody that George Carlin, but
Absolutely.
you know,
Legends. Tight.
Eddie Murphy to me, man, that's my biggest influence and my biggest love in comedy.
Okay, definitely. I mean, nobody can complain about that list, man. You named
Hell no.
several titans in the industry: Eddie, Cat Williams, George Carlin. I mean, Robin Williams. R.I.P. to the few of those amazing titans who have passed already. I mean, those. How can you complain? I mean, those are great influences. Those are great people to be influenced by. And
Yeah,
man. I mean, all we can do is just continue to look forward to the amazing work you have coming in.
you know, when you could put on their specials over and over and over and over and over again, and you know every joke word by word, that's when you know you really admire someone, you know.
Absolutely. So what's going on next?
Am I okay? I can hear you. Can you hear me? I thought it was.
Yes, sir. I was saying, what's coming down the pipe for you next? Was my question.
All right, beautiful. Shows. I've been doing shows at the Tiny Cupboard in Williamsburg. I did one show there. It went well. I got booked there 3 more times. I'll be going back this month. Um, I have a show in Jersey coming up, another couple of shows in New York, a movie that I'm in with another comedian actor who's producing, writing it, starring in it. His name is Eric Grooms. That should be an interesting project. We're supposed to film that in, I think it was March, man, or April. Then the whole shit happened. And hopefully I get I get these gigs with these commercials. I had 4 good auditions for Dick's Sporting Goods, Preparation H, IHOP, and MOP.
Beautiful. Good luck.
Yeah, maybe something will hit.
Very nice. Good luck. Man.
I only booked 1 commercial this year, so hopefully we'll get some more stuff. But this shit was fun, man. I thought I had my whole video set up. I didn't realize it was gonna be audio. We stupid. I'm old. I don't know what I'm doing with this tech stuff. I'm stupid.
It's all good, man. I appreciate it. One last question before I let you get out of here, man. I know you're super busy this weekend. With everything in the world, how important do you feel it is for comedies to come out and to help heal people and get us through these insane days?
Super important, like it's always been throughout the history of our world. It's super important. Comedy is right there with tragedy. If you have tragedy, you need that comedy. And I've seen it. I've seen the people show up to these shows. I mean, there was 100 people at a rooftop 2 weeks ago. So people want the comedy. They want to go out. They need art. I mean, this is New York City, man, with the cultural capital of the world, hopefully. Still, you need art in your life. You need art and entertainment. And we have a heavy concentration of the arts in this little island. So we got to keep it going. If not, it's going to eventually die.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Laz Rivero, let everybody know where they can find you before you get out of here.
I'm Laz Rivero everywhere, bro. Laz Rivero Twitter, Laz Rivero Instagram, LazRivero.com, Laz Rivero everywhere. Find me.
That's a fact. Yo, thank you so much for your time, brother. Wish you nothing but success going forward, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing a couple more of your sets in person in the near future, King.
Thank you so much, my brother. Tell everyone to follow him on Instagram. Thank you, fam. I'll see you around, brother. Peace.
Take it easy. Enjoy the day. Peace.
Yo, once again, thank you guys so much for rocking and vibing with us. Make sure y'all jump in each and every Sunday where I bring you the news, previews, and reviews with just a twist of my ghetto point of view. An amazing, amazing, amazing guest is coming through for next week. I'm going to keep it under wraps. Super surprise for you guys. I'm very, very excited. It's going to be a dope week next week. It's a dope week every week because I get to hang out with you guys. Y'all get to teach me. And I hope I get to educate, inspire, and enlighten you guys as well. Love, love, love. We're going to have an amazing week. We're going to get through it. We're going to be all right. One deep breath because we amazing. Another deep breath because we in charge. And a third deep breath because whatever we ain't in charge of ain't that important anyway. We'll be all right. We'll be better than all right. We'll be great. We'll be thriving. We'll be radiant. We'll be in abundance. We'll have a life of abundance. We'll have lives where we take care of everybody else. We winning. Our family's winning. We doing good. Our family's doing good. We living in good health. Our family's living in good health. Us living in love. Us living in light, us living in peace, us living in warmth, us living in kindness, us living in wisdom, us living in humanity, us living in abundance, living in abundance, living in abundance. I feel my abundance. I know I'm living in abundance, and I know y'all living in abundance too. I know I'm living in tons of wealth, and I know y'all living in tons of wealth too. Generational wealth for all our families. Generational wealth for all our families. Generational wealth for all of our families. From this day forward until forever and infinity. Amen. Love you guys. Love you guys. Love you guys. It's been your boy Phantm Phuego. This is his ghetto point of view. Shouts to Anchor FM, Spotify, Overcast, Google Podcasts, iTunes Podcasts, and every other place dope podcast is heard. Love you guys. Once again, we getting out of here. Have a great one. Next Sunday is on. Cheers.